Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Home Buying Made Simple. Today we have a visitor. His name is Dan, and Dan is with LoanDepot. Dan, can you tell us a little bit about what you do?
All right, my name is Dan with LoanDepot. I'm a loan specialist. Been with the company for 5 years. I support a top 1% loan officer in Chicago. So I handle all his approvals from basically start till we close, and then I originate my own. So on average, we close about 100 deals a year. 99% of those are probably first-time home buyers.
Yeah.
So with that comes the credit challenges, the income challenges, trying to fit someone who doesn't have a lot of income into a very small box. And that's where we get creative with, are you open to a multi-unit? Because you can use that income to help qualify. Not everyone wants to go that route, but if you see an upper lower duplex, now for all intents and purposes, you have a 3 or 4 bedroom with 2 bath. Yeah. And you can use rental income to qualify. Like, they might be able to afford it on paper, but you can't qualify them on paper. So that's where you start finding other income streams. And it also gives them the option then, they could rent it out if they wanted to, and now their mortgage payment is, how many $1,000 less or whatever, yeah. Or they have the capability of using it as a single family. So I actually do that a lot, even in Milwaukee. There's a lot of upper lower duplexes. You're looking at a $1,500 a month mortgage, yeah, in some parts of the city. And if you want to rent it out, now you're living for almost free.
That's awesome. So Dan, I know you guys have down payment assistance and grant programs and credit improvement strategies and things like that. Why don't you share some of those things with us?
Yep, so for down payment assistance, if your credit score is over 600, you qualify for 3.5% down payment assistance. It's a second mortgage paid off over 10 years, no prepayment penalty. You're in it for a year, and then I can get you out of it, basically. We refi after a year. We also have a 5% down payment assistance program, which I don't use often. Credit score has to be over 660, but in Wisconsin, 3.5% down payment assistance, $5,000 seller credit, no money at closing. You're getting a check back in most cases. 5% I use in Chicago because it's $4,000 just title fees to close a loan. So I need the 5% plus 3% from the seller to get no money out of pocket. Housing Resources has grants. The other one is UCC and ACTS. So if you live in the city of Milwaukee, $5,000 grant. If you buy in the grant development zone, it's $7,000 grant. There's also an $8,000 grant that you can use if you can get qualified conventional.
That's awesome.
But that money is not available readily. You have to be ready to pull the trigger right away. So I qualify using the $5,000 grant. Once I know where their target area is or if they have a contract, now we got $7,000 grant, and then I'll usually reach out and say, hey, do you have the $8,000 available? Because I do have a conventional approval. Can we pull off the 8? There's also an Access One program where it can help out tremendously. It's basically 1% down payment. We contribute up to $3,000 if your income is below 50% of the county median. Now you get $2,500 from Fannie Mae or from Freddie Mac. So now you're getting $5,500 towards closing, again, coupled with the seller credit, very little out of pocket.
That's awesome. So can you tell us what are some common reasons that buyers are denied?
Mostly credit reasons.
Yeah.
Seen a lot lately with just stupid collections. Yeah. $200 from the energies. Yeah. And it was opened up 3 months ago. Unless you have a really strong credit profile, you're not going to overcome a collection that's only a couple months old. Yeah. So that's where I have a credit simulator. I go in and be like, okay, if we get this deleted, your credit score goes up 50 points. I need you to call the energy, see if they'll set it on delete. Yeah. It has to be deleted. Get me a letter, I submit it to the bureaus, it's like it never happened.
And you can move forward.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
So that's a lot of the process is playing with my simulator and saying, okay, we're maxed out on credit cards, we need to get these down, we need to put this here, put that there. Late car payments are always a challenge, and with mortgage, if you have a late car payment, it pretty much destroys your chances from buying a house for a year.
Wow.
So any late, whether it's a mortgage, student loans, car payments, it pretty much hurts your chances for a year. Now, if you have a 760 credit score and you miss one late car payment and you have reserves in the bank, you can a lot of times overcome that.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of finessing it a little bit. And then I do have a credit repair person in Chicago that I work with quite a bit, that I send a lot of borrowers to. If I don't feel comfortable, I won't handle it.
So do you do direct underwriting, or is it using, like DU or some other
DU,
program?
LP, yep, everything that I do gets run through Fannie Freddie.
Okay.
If I get an approval, I send out the pre-approval, and then the minute I send out that pre-approval, I am submitting that file to underwriting as a to be determined.
Yeah.
That way, I have my conditions already from underwriting. I then start gathering those conditions. Once the borrower's under contract, they're closed in 10 days. Because I already know what I'm facing
Right.
from an underwriting standpoint.
So how long does it usually take a buyer to get pre-approved with you?
Depending on the situation, same day.
Okay.
As soon as I get an application, as soon as I get documents, I can get an approval out.
And these applications are done online or in
Online, yep.
person? Okay, great.
90% of the time, I can look at a credit report and be like, yeah, this isn't gonna happen.
Instantly.
You know, but I've been surprised though.
Okay. Okay. And you mentioned some of the programs. So what all programs do you use?
I use them all.
You use them all.
Yep.
So FHA,
Yep.
conventional.
95% of everything I do is FHA.
Okay.
FHA has a really bad stigma around it, and honestly, it's just realtors they're not educated on it.
Mm-hmm.
Interest rate on FHA is always going to be at least 1/4 to 0.5% lower than conventional. PMI is always going to be lower than conventional. PMI on FHA is always 0.55%.
Mm-hmm.
I have a borrower right now that insisted on going conventional, 760 credit score, her PMI is 1.63. So now she's paying $225 a month in PMI when she could be paying $75 a month. Unfortunately, the property's not going to pass FHA,
Right.
so we're stuck with it, and I'll try to find a cheaper PMI quote, but FHA just has a bad stigma around it. And I have a realtor right now where when she goes to see a property, she'll send me pictures and she's like, is this a problem? And like, this is what we need to do, to kind of get it to pass. If the seller's not willing to do it, are you willing to do it?
Mm-hmm.
I had a borrower last week, she went up and painted a shed so she could buy this property because it just wasn't going to pass. So it's all about the education.
Right.
It always comes back to education.
Okay.
But Dan, what do you think are some of the biggest mistakes that first-time buyers make before applying for a mortgage?
Before applying?
Before applying, yeah.
It's hard. I mean, most people just on a wing and a prayer, like start looking at houses and then they're like, I got an application today, $600,000 house.
Yeah.
You make $4,000 a month.
Right.
So it's just, it seems like there's no financial education these days. Like, my parents taught me financial education. I didn't listen to it at all. I did my own thing, maxed out credit cards, got myself in a bunch of trouble. Our daughter's done the same thing. So I think it's just this generation, they have TikTok, they have Instagram, and they see all these things on, a lady wanted to buy a house from China that was going to be shipped here for $50,000. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
So it's really just getting with a lender and getting with a realtor and coming up with a plan with your numbers. And I always tell people, even if you come to me first, shop me, feel free, go to a different lender, because not all lenders are created equal. I had a loan that closed 2 weeks ago. She was in an active Chapter 13 bankruptcy. Her first lender told her she needed $12,000. She came to me, she was discouraged, and I'm like, well, here's what we need to do. So we did what the credit things that we needed to do. And then I'm like, how about $2,000 to close?
Wow.
She was like, and then I'm like, and you don't even need to give me the $2,000, I just need to see it in your bank account. And she got a check back for $1,600 at closing. So don't trust, I hate to say it, but don't trust your lender. Go to other lenders and compare. That's important. I tell everyone, do it, because I've had borrowers that come in with a $200,000 approval. I give them one for $140. Then they go back to their other lender. The other lender actually does what they're supposed to do.
Right.
And guess what? That approval came in at 140. We could have saved a lot of time, but you know, that's part of, the borrower has to go through those growing pains as well. But you know, there's a pre-qualification, there's a pre-approval. They are not the same.
Correct.
Okay, well, that's good to know. I've always wondered, like, what can we as agents help lenders make the approval process smoother? Like, is there something that we should be doing, you know?
A lot of it comes down to, like, most realtors, they won't take a borrower out shopping or even really talk to them unless they have a pre-approval. So the first step, I guess, would be, and the first question I ask any borrower is, what is your comfort level on payment?
Yeah.
And if they tell me it's $1,800 a month, boom, that's where I'm gonna set your approval right away based in that zone. And then I'll say, you're approved for this, but here's the payment that comes with this. To keep you in your comfort zone, this is where you need to be. It's almost like a little bit of reverse psychology, because someone will be like, that's $200 over my budget. What's $200 over 30 days? Don't go to Starbucks. Get your coffee at home. You know, so it's like, what you want, you have to, you know, if you want this, you need to adjust a little bit in life. Because I look at everyone's bank statements. Stop the DoorDash, stop the Klarna, you know, like, even my daughter, like, how much are you spending a month on DoorDash? They're here every day, sometimes twice a day. I'm like, add it up. That's half a house payment.
Guys, did you have any questions for me?
So how long do you actually work with a client before?
Till death. No.
Really?
I mean, I got one right now, 6 months.
Okay.
You know, I never tell anyone no. I tell them, not yet, here's what we have to do.
Okay.
And then, so like if there's credit challenges, I'll work with them and be like, here's what we need to do. We need to get the credit card balances down, you know, keep everything under 30%. Don't have 12 credit cards, have 2, you know, and then I check in with them every month, like, are you doing it?
Okay.
Are you doing it? Are you ready yet? You know, and then just, because that's the key, is to keep following up with them and make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And then I also do that with realtors. I always tell them, okay, borrower so-and-so has to do this, and then they stay on top of them. Because it's a team effort, you know, you're trying to bring everyone to the same place, but in order to get to point A or point B, we got to start here and make our way there.
What do you think is the fastest ways that they can improve their credit? Do you know of any, like, fast ways that they can?
I mean, I have one borrower right now, she doesn't have any revolving credit. Go get a Chime secured bank card. At least it's your money that you're putting on it. And you're going to build your credit using your money. Because, like, or get you added as an authorized user. But if you get, you know, and I always tell people, add your son as an authorized user. Do not give him the credit
The actual card, right?
Like, don't even tell him he's been added. Just do it. I mean, you're looking at a score jump right there. You know, so there's ways to build it. And then the biggest thing is keep your credit card usage under 30%. And don't have 18 cards sitting out there. You know, because you can have a borrower with 700 credit score, but if they're maxed out or over the limit on credit cards, you're not getting an approval. It's the whole risk factor comes into play.
That's good. Good information. Well, anyone else has any other questions for Dan? No? Dan, did you want to ask us anything?
Yeah, so what are you guys, are you mostly listing, or are you using, have buyers as well, kind of a mix?
Well,
I would say we're a mix, but we mostly work with first-time home buyers.
Okay. What are the challenges that you guys are seeing?
Buyers that aren't ready, you know, at least for me personally.
Yeah. And is it a lender thing, or?
No, it's an education thing.
Okay.
You know, I know for the ones that I talk to, I really just try to tell them to, just sit down with a lender, just see what you're approved for now. Even if you don't get approved, now you got some homework to do.
Yeah.
You know, but they got to go out and do it.
Right.
Can't, you know, handhold it through the whole process. You know, just giving them the tools and resources that I have, but you know, it's tough. But I also think it's more so people, they just are, kind of afraid to be told no.
Yeah. They get discouraged.
Yeah,
Is the biggest thing,
what
and
it
that's
is.
why I don't use the word no. Because that's the last thing you want to do. Like someone's coming to you for help. Think about when you were a kid. You went to your parents for something. They told you no. You're like, okay, well then why should I even try? But instead you give them the tools. Like here's what we have to do in order to.
Yeah, that's why I try to reiterate to them. It's just like if you get told, no, it's not really no. You're just getting some homework.
Yeah.
Learn what you got to do to move forward. So.
Are you asking, like, if they're being told no, are you asking them why, or are they telling you?
Well, the ones that I've had, they haven't even, sat down with anyone yet.
Okay.
So, I'm just trying to get them over that hump. And then,
Over the fear of just, you'd be surprised.
yeah.
Like, I mean, I've looked at credit reports, I'm like, there's no way. And then all of a sudden, oh. I mean,
Yeah, but there's also the other side of it too. They'll probably sit down with somebody and they'll realize they get approved something they wouldn't even imagine,
yeah.
But you just got to take that step.
Yeah. That's the biggest thing, is just don't. My nephew right now, I've been working with him for, I think we're 2 years in. I don't think he's ever going to buy a house. He's wasting his realtor's time. And I've told him that.
And is he renting?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, see, and that's another thing. Like you guys, you're able to make rent payments and still,
Right.
still fund your livelihood too. So it's like, if you can make a rent payment, you can make a mortgage.
Right.
payment. Just
And,
go
like,
and see what you're approved.
The younger, if I had someone like me in my life when I was younger, the only way to make money is through real estate. And like, I had a lady that she wanted to buy, and this is like God's honest true story. She's like, I want to buy a 4 unit. I'm like, all right. So she bought one in Chicago, got her approved, no money out of pocket. She's like, I'm going to call you next year. I'm going to buy my next one. I'm like, okay, sure. Sure enough, 2 months ago she called. She's buying her second one.
Wow.
And then next year she'll call and we'll do the third one. And we'll just keep on churning them until she's ready to buy her house. But like I always tell people, if you're buying a 2 unit, why not go for the 3 or the 4? They're all over in the city. $1,100 a month coming in per unit probably. You're living for free. And you can buy with down payment assistance.
Wow.
That's awesome. Well, Dan, we want to thank you for stopping by at
Thank you.
Homeownership Made Simple. If there are no other questions, we will see you next time.
All right.
Everyone, thank you, and we'll see you next time.